Hello.
Okay. Are you familiar with JavaScript?
Not much.
Not much. I mean, do you understand the basic programming? What are variables,
Yeah, basic
data types,
programming and all I know. Yes, yes, yes.
right? So, like, which language are you familiar in?
C++. plus plus.
C++. Okay, let's just try to common analogy, right? So, in C++, you remember you used to, you have to declare a variable. You have to even declare its data type, right?
Yeah.
Like for an integer, you have to put in JavaScript. It's a bit different, okay? So, in JavaScript, you can use three keywords, that is let, var, and const, to declare data types, to declare variables of any data type. So I can just put let string equals string. So by default, this means we are assigning the string data type to the string variable, or even I can do let num equal to some numbers. So suppose say 10. So in this way, you can assign data types, I mean variables in JavaScript. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah, and the others are basically same. The for loops, if statements, and if else statements, all are same. Syntax is same over here, so you don't have to worry much about that. What I want you to know is uh, uh like this, what is happening here, right? So I'll just show to you over here. So you can't hear it right now because I've shared the whole screen, but you can see when I click on the pause play button, the song plays, and and the button changes to pause, like the icon, and when I click on that, it becomes like a play. Is that visible over here? Right? And even when I like this song, it gets added over here, and when I unlike it, it gets removed from there. It's only for the song over here. Others are still not. They are still static. Okay, so it only works for this song over here, only one song. Okay, so all of these are done using JavaScript. So to use JavaScript, first you come to your index.html and you use the script tag, and then inside the script tag, you use the src attribute to put the location of your JavaScript file. Okay, then you go to your JavaScript file, right? So here I have written like document. What is document? Document is basically like your whole index.html. We call it like a document object. Doing a add event listener. Okay. What does dot add event listener means? It means like the whenever a user comes to the website, the user does certain actions like hovering over this particular card and then clicking on anything, like clicking on this button. Those are all user events, user actions, right? So we can capture those actions using add event listener. And whenever that happens, it will call a function that does the whatever we define within it. So what I'm doing here is when the document for the document, that is the index.html, I'm adding an event listener, that is DOM content loaded. This means that once the whole document is loaded in the browser, then you execute the whole file over here. Is it clear till here? Any doubts?
Yes.
Right?
No, no.
Okay. Then basic. So like here you can define variables in terms of elements also, right? So what I'm doing is document. There's another method called query selector, and I'm getting the element with the ID play button, and I'm storing it in this variable. So it'll return me and it'll return me this play button element over here in a form of an object, right? So uh, this over here is an object, and why object? Because you can see an element has lots of key value pairs, like it. Suppose say its key is class and its values can be an array of all the classes. Another key can be its title and its value can be place. So and you can see an element. When we do this, the element we get it in the form of an object. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting the play and pause button from the document using the query selector method by passing in the ID. It's not necessary you have to pass in the ID. You can even pass the dot pause button if I had put it as a class, or if not, I could even put like an I tag over here. It takes its parameter is any element with its either its class or its ID or both. Then next over here, uh, I've created an assets folder and there's a song over here. So that song, I'm passing it as a parameter to an audio object. Okay. What this audio object does is it creates an audio element. You know, we have like an audio tag, right? In HTML. So it creates an audio tag with the music as what parameter we pass it over here. That is the location of the file, and it returns an audio tag over there. Next, I'm getting the like button from the document, and then I'm getting the like song container from the document. That is the one over here, this one. Inside this, I will be adding the like song, that particular song alone. Okay. Then again, same thing. Okay, is this clear to you what I'm doing over here? Any doubt?
Yes, I got it.
Got
No.
it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm just declaring variables that I'll be using throughout the JavaScript file. So now the play button, right? I'm adding an event listener to the play button. What is the event listener? That is a click. When the play button is clicked, call the following function. This type of syntax over here is arrow function syntax. So arrow functions are basically like you could say, you know the normal function, right? This is a traditional function. Suppose say sum. Inside this, I'll be passing in two numbers, and I'll be returning the sum of a plus b. So you're familiar with this type of traditional function declaration, right?
Yes,
Oh,
Kunal.
yes.
Right. So in JavaScript, especially the ES6 version that came out in 2015, we can declare functions this way. So I can just do const sum, just like a variable declaration. So I'm putting const sum equal to brackets a comma b and equal to greater than an arrow mark and return a plus b. So these both are literally the same. What do you think? This is your traditional function declaration and this is your arrow function declaration over here. So it's the same thing that I'm doing in the bottom. I'm declaring an arrow function that takes in no arguments and just calls what is it in the function block. So when the play button is clicked, it music dot play met on the music that I declared here. I'm calling the dot play method, so it starts playing the music, and then uh, over the play button. Sorry, I'm console logging that the music is played. What is console log, right? So console dot log, I can just say hi over here. I'll go to my one and I'll go to the inspect. So you can see hi is over here. Console.log is an inbuilt JavaScript function. So whatever you pass into the parameters gets logged in your browser's console. Oh yes, that is the console.log inbuilt JavaScript function. Next, what I'm doing is when the play button is clicked, I'm hiding the play button and I'm showing the pause button. So in the play button, I'm going to its style, and style I'm setting display to none. And the same thing for pause button, I'm going to style and setting its display to inline. Okay. Any doubts with how I'm playing the music and removing and adding the play and pause button?
Sir, what's the use of console log?
Console log, right? Let me tell you. Suppose say it's usually used in debugging mostly. So suppose say my code for some reason stops working, right? So I can just put console.log maybe over something like this here. This is the main use so far that I've been used. So I can see like it will show which line it's console logging. Suppose say I have typed some error over here. I just left it open, okay, without anything. So this like here, I've initialized a variable without the let or var, and then I didn't assign it any value, right? So it will throw me an error. So I got an error, but then it's showing where it is. In some cases, especially in the backend, you won't be able to see it in your browser's console like this. So When you're using console.log, it helps in debugging to know where the exact error is when you do it line by line. So suppose I did console.log here, it's still not coming because there's an error. A little bit of right. Okay, not an issue. It's mainly used for like debugging work. Any that was like while using console log.
No, I got it.
Got it right.
Yeah.
What about this one? Is this clear?
Yes, yes.
Right. Then the same thing we're doing for pause button. When the pause button is, you're adding an event listener. That event is clicked. When it's clicked, it will call the following function. So it will pause the music and then console log music stop. Let me show that to you. So you can see it like so. I'll just play. Now it's pause. You can see like when I'm clicking, it's getting updated on the console, right? Then I'm hiding the pause button and I'm showing the play button again. So this is the play pause functionality. Next, what I'm doing is for the like button, right? When the like button is clicked, that is this one over here. You can see the music comes over here, right? Comes and disappears. So to do that, what I'm doing is I'm just uh, adding an event listener that is clicked and will call the function. Within that, I'm having a conditional statement. Like it will go into the like button, go into its style and check its color. If its color is red, that means it has been liked before. So unlike it and then remove it from the like song. So like song was that container that I showed you over here. I can access the inside of this like song using the dot inner HTML over here. So inner HTML means whatever is there inside this like song container over here. This one. So I can either access the content or I can reassign what value is there inside that particular container. So I'm reassigning it using dot inner HTML and I'm giving an empty div. That's all. Or else, if it's red, that means the else statement goes to red. That means the color is sorry. If it's not red, that means it has not been liked before. So like it by setting the color to red and add that like song. So we already know our card uh, styling over here. I will show to you that. So we are adding the card inside this. So if we go to here and I unlike it, it gets removed. Like it gets added over here. Is it clear what we are doing so far? What we have done so far,
Yes.
right? Okay, so now what I want you to do is we'll go to all the card collection that we have done so far, right? And I'm just going to remove because we are going to dynamically update it now with JavaScript. So all the card collection that we have created, right? So I'll just be clearing that out. I'll show you how we'll be adding it with JavaScript. Okay, so I've made it empty and output here also it's all empty right now. And we'll go to our script.js and I'll just comment all this out. So because we'll be defining our own code now. Okay, I hope all of you have downloaded the music file over here. Has anyone not downloaded it yet? The music file and the JSON file that I shared yesterday.
No, I didn't download. After that session, I downloaded.
No issues. Okay, no issues. I'll just share the link over here again. I don't think we use, but right? Okay. So yeah, are all of you familiar with arrays and objects?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Right? What about you, Rahul? Are you familiar
Yeah,
with
Kunal.
arrays and objects? Right? Okay. So I'll just show you what JSON is. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's basically a way of representing data or sharing data across languages independently. So it's language independent, despite it being a subscript of JavaScript, right? So what does JSON being a subscript of JavaScript mean? It basically means like whatever you write in your JSON is valid JavaScript. And so in JSON, you first declare an object. So you can ignore that for now. I'll just go down and show you, right? So you start with an empty curly braces. That's how you declare an object. Then then you put your key value pair. In JSON, your key value pair should be in double quotes. So say I'll just put names, right? Names here, and names here can be like an array. So within the array, I'll have the names. So see my name, then some of my friends over here. Yeah, so this is an in this JavaScript object, there is an name names array with the values over here, right? And in JavaScript, you're allowed to have you're not limited to a single type, so you can have an array of objects. So this over here can be an object inside that array, which can be like an suppose here I can just simply put an index over here, and I'll just put like uh, and then the next one again I can put an index, right? So this over here is an array of objects where every object is an element of the names array. So this is in short like you know JSON syntax. So I'll show you what we have shared in that. So I'm again declaring an object and global object over here. Inside the object, I have a songs key, and the songs key is an array of objects. So here you can see the square bracket and the ending square bracket over here. And then I'm inside this array, I'm having a objects, right? So every object is an element of this array, and inside each object, I'm having a name, artist, location of the song, image, and then the liked if the song is liked before, and the ID of the song. Is Jason clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Kunal.
Right. So what I can do is I'll just take this songs or this whole thing. I told you like JSON is a subscript of JavaScript. So whatever I write JSON is valid JavaScript, right? So I'll just go to my script.js. I'll come down here. I'll paste it, but it'll throw me an error because I'm not assigned it to anything. So I'll just put const songs. Okay, what does this mean, right? I'm open curly braces here. It's an ES6 concept called destructuring, right? So I'll just give you another example. So const or obj, right? Suppose say this is an object over here. It has a name. Suppose say like my name again, and then age 18. Or objects taken commas at the same time, and then college you could say like SRM, right? So this is an object, right? So suppose say I want to get only the name of this object. Uh, const I would have to do something like name is equal to obj dot name. You're familiar with the dot notation of accessing the key value as an object, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I'd have to do something like this dot name, and then I have to like console dot log name. So if I go to over here, it'll show the name. That works, right? So now instead of writing like this, 6 offers you an another method. So I can just instead of writing like I want the only the name from this object, right? So I can open curly braces. And what does this mean? Like I I've opened curly braces on the left side, and on the right side I've placed an object. So this means, and what do I put in here? That means destructure the object on the right and get the name alone. So over here, the key value pair must match, otherwise it won't come. So I put const, within the const I put curly braces, and I passed in name. So this means destructure the object and get only the name. So if I go over here and it still works. If I refresh, it still comes, right? So this is destructuring concept. That is what I've done over here. So I'm getting the songs from this object. So this songs is an array of objects with all details over here, right? And you go to the index.html and we've cleared out the containers over there, the song collection containers. Okay, right. So now what we're going to add JavaScript functionality to our website. So you remember the card that we created. Can anyone like try saying what structure it had based on what I'm showing you here? Anyone just like you can give a try. It's okay if you're wrong. Anyone wants to give it a try, like explaining the structure of this card?
Structure as in the child parent relation.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you want to give it a try?
Yeah, sure. The parent here is the card class, and inside it, the childs are the image and the card info. Inside the card info, there are two childs, card name and card artist.
Yes, exactly. That's right. Okay. Uh, so as she mentioned, like we have the parent, that is the they with the class card, in that the image over here, and the card info, that is the information about the card, and in that we have like the card name and the card artist. So what we did in the previous one to add it to our website, that the like song, we typed it out individually like this over here, right? Right. So over here we typed it out in a big line like this. But this is a lot of keywords, right? So typing it for each and every song over here is going to be very hectic. So what we can do is we can create a function that creates a card for us, right? So we, what all functionalities are we looking for our website, right? So we can create and add cards, like music cards dynamically to the website within those containers. Whenever a card is clicked, that the player head should get updated for that song. There should be a pause and play functionality for the song, and like and unlike that song in the that list that we created over there. So these are the four major functionalities that we'll be adding to our website. How will we structure those functions, right? So we need five functions. One is like a create card function that will return a card in the form of an object that we'll insert inside our website. Then for that card, we'll put like an update player function. So whenever the card is clicked, it should update the music player head in the bottom, and then uh, the music player head should in that the pause and play buttons should have like the functionality of playing the song and pausing the song whenever that particular song is clicked. And then in the within the player head we have the like button, right? So when the like button is clicked, based on the song whether it's liked before or not, it should get added or removed from that card collection. And finally, after we add all the functionality, we will add it to our document, to our website. All right. Any doubts like what functions we'll be creating?
Sir, what does update collection function mean?
Update collection. This basically like custom functions we'll be creating. So you've understood the first four, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So once we create a card, give it functionality even to the player head, then only we'll be adding to our website. So you see that I've removed the collection, like the cards from the HTML, right?
Yes,
Over
yes,
there.
yes.
So update collection function, once we create the cards, add functionality to it, then we'll call the update collection function that will add all the songs to the respective, blocks. That is, like song will get added here, the other songs will get added below like that. So that is the main purpose of the function, to update the index.html file.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so let's just get started. I'll go to my index.html. I'll go to the player head in the bottom. So this we have given an ID player. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the ID from this, and I'm going to put it as a class, like button. You'll be clear. It'll be clear when you're actually doing it in JavaScript. And over here, this ending time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it an ID end time, something like this. Then I'll go to my script.js. So this is our global songs array, right? So using this, we are going to add all the songs to our website dynamically. So first, I will get all the elements. So go and say the player head, and I'll use the document dot get element by ID method, and I'll pass in the ID. So this is another way of getting an element from your HTML file, either get element by ID or query selector. Next, I'll use let, because the pause and play be reassigned to a new song every time the player head is changed for a particular song. So let play button, say document dot get element by ID play button, and let pause button equals document dot get element by ID pause button, and then I'm getting the card collection. You can put it like this, because there are four containers for each card. So document dot query selector all, or query selector all. Basically, we have four card collections, right? So it will give me all of these card collections. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? These all, it'll return all of them in a form of an array. So I'm query selector all. I'll pass in the class, so card collection name. So let's see if the class matches. Okay, single underscore. So this will get me all the elements over there, and then I'm declaring a new the current song. We do new audio, an empty audio object, because I'll be assigning it later. Okay, so these are my global objects that I'll be using throughout the, or elements also, you could say, throughout the website. So first thing, when you come to a website, no song plays, right? When no song is playing, that means the player head, there's nothing over here. So this should be hidden. So what I'm doing is I'll just put a player head dot style dot display equal to none. So I'm saying, like, when the user comes to the website for the first time, that time the player head shouldn't be uh, visible, right? So why is it not loading, right? So document dot add event listener, when it's DOM content loaded, only when the document is loaded, that time you start doing this. So now it will not give it. So you can see the music player head is hidden right now. Any doubts, guys?
No problem.
No, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to use the ES6 arrow function to declare my, functions. So first one is the create card. So create card that takes in the song object over here, and then what I'm going to do is I need to get those elements, that is div tag, those image tags, and those para tags. So I'm just going to const card equal to document dot and you can use the create element and pass in what element you want to create. So card is the event, I mean, is the div in the start, and then the image, the child, the two child, that is the image tag. So document dot create element image, and then the we had like the card info div. So I'll just put card info document dot create element. That was a div, so again I'll create another div. And within the div, I had two other informations, right? That was the name of that song and the artist. So con card name, right? You can keep it as document. It was a paragraph tag, so we just put P and then the artist name. So card artist over there. So document dot create element another P. So what I'm basically doing is I'm making these. I'm making like a a blueprint for this card over here in JavaScript. So like the same thing, I'm creating the div card over here with the create element method of the document. Then I'm creating the images, the card info, and the two paragraph tags with the same method. Uh, just a second. Do I get disconnected between? Any doubts, guys? Like what I'm doing over here? Just 1 second. Yes, sorry for that. Any doubts with what I'm doing here? What this is?
No.
All right.
No.
Okay, so after doing this, I have to assign the classes, right? So I can just do card dot class name, and we had the classes card for the outer one, and then we had the for the image tag we didn't have any class. So for the card info, we had a class name as card underscore info, and then we had the card name. For that also we had a class called card underscore name, and then for the artist, this one also we had a class name as uh, sorry, card underscore artist, right? So we cross check it with our right. So we gave it like body single underscore. Okay. So I'm after creating the elements and I'm adding their classes. So when I add the class, it will go to the CSS file and automatically style it. Next, I want to add the content, right? So I told you this songs, right? All the songs is an array of objects. So each of it has a key value file name, artist, location. So what I'm expecting is this I'm passing individual objects as a parameter over here as a song, and then suppose say the I want to update the name of the song, right? So card name dot inner HTML is equal to song dot name. So the object dot notation I'm using over here. Then I want to set the artist also dot inner HTML as song dot artist. And then for the image tag, I'm setting its source as a song dot image. And finally, for image like an alt tag just in to specify like if the image is not loaded, so song dot name, the name can be as its alt. Okay, then next I want to add the card info, right? Card info and the image tag as a child element of the card over here. Oh, just a second. Alright, no issues. Alright, so now I want to add you say the card name and card artist within the card info tag, and the card info and the image within the card tag. So I'll just use the, say, first the card info I'll update it, card info dot append. Append means add, so add it towards the end. So first I'll add the card name and the card artist, right? So these two elements in which I've placed the card name and card artist is getting added to the card info element. And next, card dot append. So within the card we had two child, that was the image and the card info. So I'll image and card info. Is this clear, guys? Any doubts? Any doubts, anyone? Like it's,
Can't we write it as an HTML inside tilde within the function using dynamic values?
yeah, you can do, you mean like something like this, like card info dot inner HTML.
No, no, I meant this code like an HTML code inside tilde symbols within the function.
You mean like how we did it before over here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean this would be easier, but then if you try and do that, right, you can't access those HTML. The main reason we are doing this is for the, I'm coming to it. So like main reason is, so card, if you do just like an HTML, you won't be able to add any functionality to it, right? So it's just an card over there with an static card with no functionality. But over here, I still have this card in a JavaScript format. So I can do like the add event listener or on click. So I can add functionality to this object before giving it back as an HTML. If I were to do it as a plain HTML, I won't be able to add any functionality. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that if I were to do it in a separate HTML thing, I'd have to call another function to get that card and then add functionality. But here I can directly add it. So before returning the card, I can do card dot on click. On click takes in a function, right? So when the card is clicked, that time I want the player head to be visible. If you remember, we put like a flex property to it. So we'll put display flex to show the player. Uh, we'll have to make a function that returns the song, updates the player head, and adds the play pause functionality. Right. So before we doing that, we'll have to update all this, and this returns the card after adding the functionality. Okay. So next thing we want to declare a function. First thing, it should return the song. Basically, a player, it should update the player head when that particular song is clicked. Okay. So I'll just declare a like a function over here called say const update player in the same ES6 format, right? Okay. And then I mentioned like it should have a play pause function also. So const play pause function, you could say, again the ES6 format. Okay, so before that, I know to update the player, I need the same these song details, right? So what I can do is uh, sim- simple over here. I can just do, I can destructure right at its when you're passing the song. So we know that each song has its name, has its artist, has the location of the song, has the image, whether it's liked or not, and and we'll get the ID as well. So basically, what I'm doing is, and I know it'll return a song element, right? So it'll return. We declared a uh, global song object, right? So we'll update that global song object that we declared over here within the update layer, and it will return that song. Why I'm returning it, I'll show it in a while. Okay. Okay. So basically, what is happening in when the card is clicked, uh, I'm just setting current song is equal to the update player. I'm calling the update player function that takes in the song. So I'm passing the object and I'm destructuring at its arguments itself. Is it clear? Any doubts?
No.
No, right? Okay. So then I'm just uh, right before that I mentioned we had to reassign. Suppose there's an old song playing, but then we click on a new song. We need to reassign that song to the player, right? So player, and even that new song should be updated. So current song. Okay, I can just do a set attribute method over here, and I'm setting the source of the song as the location. So this location is coming from the object that I destructured. Okay, and then I'm getting those elements from the player head. So if I go to my player head, what all I need to update? I need to update the name, the image, the artist name, and even this ending time because every song has a different duration, right? So I'll just put const container is equal to uh, maybe like dot, yeah, get that one and dot query selector dot song. Okay, const then you have the artist container document dot query selector and dot txt. It's the same one that we declared over here, right? Yes, right. Or this one. So I'm just going to reset these values for that particular card. So I'm getting those containers first. Then I'm getting the like button also. Document dot query selector and passing the dot like button. Okay. And then even the image I have to update. So artist image equal to document dot query selector. Then dot artist image. So let's see if it has the same class. Yeah, it has the same class. And then even the ending time, so const end time equals is equal to document dot query selector. Uh, Sorry, we can use the get element by ID method over here because I assigned the ID over there. So end time, right? Same ID over here. Next, I even want to get the play and pause button because suppose say the old song is playing and then I switch the song, right? So when you switch the song, the old song should get paused. Even the styling also should go to its default. So I'm getting the play and pause button. You could either do that or it's already a global bit over here, right? So what what I can do is I'll just do a simple play button dot style dot display equal to inline. That is, the play button should be visible and the pause button should be hidden, equals none. Okay, so now I want to set the song details in that player head. So song container dot inner HTML is equal to basically the name, artist container dot inner HTML is equal to the artist that I destructured in the arguments. In the artist image, the source of that image should be the image over here. Next, I want to see if the song is liked or not. So before that, like button dot, I'll set its ID to the ID that I pass here so that we can add functionality later. And then by default, the style of the the like button is gray. But then we check if liked. Right? So what is liked over here? Liked is an object that we destructured. So liked is a boolean value. It's either true or false. So I can directly go past, like if it's true, then like button dot style dot color is red. Otherwise by default it's always gray. Okay, so next what we want to do is for the like button you want to add a on click. When the like button is clicked, so again it will call a function and we'll write a like function that we'll declare later. Okay. Now whenever you reassign the set attribute over here, right? Every song has different duration and sometimes some people might have slow internet. So the song has to load. So once a song loads, only it will play. So what I'm doing is current song dot on loaded metadata. That is when the song is loaded, right? When the song is loaded, that time I'll just put temporary variable duration of the song is equal to current song dot duration. Current song, this it returns the duration of the song in seconds, right? So what I'm doing is I'm reassigning the value duration is equal to, I'll first divide it by 60. So I convert into minutes, but then it will give a long float value, right? So to precision, and I want only three, uh, at most only three digits. That is first is the duration in minutes, and then after that two decimal places. That is the seconds. Okay, and then it will return a number. Okay, so we'll just put an add empty string to convert into a string, and then the end time dot inner HTML is equal to the duration. Is this clear, guys? Any doubts like how we are updating the player? Any doubts, anyone?
No.
All right. Next thing is the play pause function, right? So play pause function. This song that we are returning over here, I'm passing it into the play pause function. So I'll call the play pause function and I'll pass in the song. All right. I'll just get these two again because every time you're getting a new, uh, say, a song, these two needs to be reassigned for that particular song over there. Okay. So I'm getting the play and pause. I'm reassigning its value for a new song. So the same thing that we did in the top. So play button dot add event listener. When it's clicked, that time the song that here I'll be expecting a song. That is the current song that I'm passing it to over here, right? So song dot play, and then I want to hide the play button dot style dot display equals none, and I want to show the pause button. So pause button dot style dot display is equal to inline. Can anyone tell me how will I do it for the pause button? How to pause the song? Any idea? Anyone wants to give it a try?
No, Kunal.
It's
On clicking the pause button, song dot pause
right.
function will be called.
So when you click the song, the function should be called. What should happen in the function?
Song dot pause, then
Yeah, that's right.
play
So song
button
dot
should
pause.
be inline and pause button should be display none.
Yes, exactly. So the play button should be showed again. So style dot display equals inline, and button dot style pause button should be hidden. Display is equal to none. Right. So this is the play pause function. Next, I mentioned we need to create a like function, right? So I'll come down here, say const like song. Again, ES6 function declaration, arrow function. Within my like song, I need to know which song is liked, right? So in my songs object, I have made an ID. So this ID is unique for every song. So I'll pass in the ID, then I'll pass in the like button itself to add some functionalities, and the song name as well. I'll show you in a while how exactly are we going to use that. Okay. Uh, you remember that whenever every song card, we have many of them, right? So I to keep them unique, the only thing that makes them unique is their name, right? So when you like a song, that song we should check whether it has been liked or not before, and then update it in the card collection. So for that we'll use a song name. How exactly we'll see in a while. Uh, right. Course, I'll card collection again. I'm getting like the new one. So every time I do this, I'm calling it from the DOM again, so that I get the new correct. Suppose sometimes I call it initially over here, right? It'll get me only the songs from that collection, but then when I like it, the collection will get updated, right? So I need the updated collection. So I'm reassigning to over here. So query selector all dot card collection name, right? And then I'm getting the liked songs from that card collection. I mentioned query selector all gets all those I mean that collection elements in the form of an array. So card collections, and we know the first one is for the like songs, right? So we'll just use the square notation for the array, and I'll put the method dot and the property dot children that will return all the child elements of that card collection. Okay, but then what this will do is, right, this will return me an HTML collection that is not exactly an array. So I need to convert into array. So like songs is equal to, I'll use the global array dot from liked songs. So this one is an HTML collection that I'm passing it to array from, converting it to array, and then reassigning it to the same variable. Okay, and then before we continue this, I want to show you one thing. Suppose say const, I have an array over here. The values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? in JavaScript, you have a concept called higher order functions. So, and along with that, you need to also know like a concept called callback functions, right? So, callback functions are nothing but when you pass in function inside the argument of another function. So, suppose you have a function like function one, right? That console dot log, say this one over here, and have a function two over here that console dot consoles two, and then down here I'll just call one and I'll call two. I'll go to my web player. You can see one and two is getting console logged here. So now suppose say over here I'll just put like callback. It's the argument of the one function, and then I'll do callback and I'll call that callback. So instead of me calling two separately, what I'm doing is I'm passing two inside one. Uh, right, sorry. Uh, so now you see it works the same way. So this is the concept of callbacks. When you pass a function in the argument of another function, either you could say it like that, or you could say it's like a relation between two functions. So now two has a relation with function one as a callback. So now how we are using this callback, right? So suppose say I have a function that adds or multi multiplies, right? Multiplies. It takes in three in general. You could say it takes an element, uh, multiplies by five. You say by here, and it returns. It multi returns element element into five, right? I can, and if I want to do it for this array over here, right? I want to update this array. How I would basically do it with in a for loop for let I is equal to 0, I less than array dot length, and increment I. So this is a basic for loop you're all familiar with, right? Round brackets. Okay, and then what I will do is array of I is equal to array of I into 5. Okay, so I'll just do a console dot log of array before the for loop, and I'll do console dot log of array after the for loop. Right, so you can see the array before the for loop is 1 2 3 like that till 7, and then after I multiply it with 5 it comes 5 10 15 like that. So this is the basic thing, but then in JavaScript you don't have to use this. You have the option of using higher order functions. Higher order functions, they take in an callback function, that is say that I've declared over here. So you can just do a simple array dot for each. For each, that means it takes in each of those elements of this, and then I can just put multiplies by 5 over here, right? Okay, doesn't exactly work like that way. Just a second. Instead of this one, maybe you can just put, I just want to show you the example. So consoles element. And then, no, we don't need this, this, and within this console.log element. Okay. So now you can see what for each basically does is it takes in a, it uses like the individual elements, or just right? So for each basically means for each of the elements of the array, you take that element and put it inside a function. The function in general has three parameters: the element, the index, and the whole array itself. While the second two are optional, and the first one is mandatory. So for each of these elements, you call a function. So I'm calling back the console element function, and it passes in the element one by one, right? So console dot element. So and then I put console dot log, uh, maybe multiplying lying by 5, right? And console dot log element into 5. Now I'll come back here. You can see 1 multiplying by 5 will be 5, 2 again multiplying by 5, 10. So it does for each element one at a time. So the first element is 1, then it console logs this, then it multiplies by 5, then it goes to the second element. So second element is 2, multiplying by 5, it returns 10. Any doubts like how for each works? Any doubts?
No.
No, no.
Right? So either I can even console log an index of the element, right? So I can just put console dot log. Index is basically the index, so it will be 041, 142, like that. So it will come like that. So we have 7 elements, so index from 0 to 6. Okay. And the array, the third argument is the whole array itself. Usually the second two are optional, you don't need them. Okay. So now instead of declaring like this, I can even declare it this way, right? So I can just put an arrow notation for each element console dot log element, right? So this is an arrow function, an anonymous arrow function, you could say. I haven't passed any callback over here, so this is the function element itself. So for each for each element, you console log that element. This is what the array method for each does, and it will work the same way as that callback I had showed you. So again, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so this was a concept. So we'll be using it over here, right? So now coming back to the like song, I've gotten the card collection in a form of an array. I know that the first card collection is specifically for the like songs, and I'm getting its children because some songs will be liked before, some are not liked yet. So I need to check which is liked. So then if songs ID that I'll be passing it, that is unique, and then dot liked. If it is liked before, then using the same like button that I passed over here, set its style to unlike it. So if it's like before means it should be unliked now. So it should be gray. Then songs ID dot liked. I'm reassigning to be false, and then liked songs dot for each, right? For each, and I know each of them is a song, right? In the first one, so for each of them over here, I'm just getting like the name of the song. Since those cards don't have a unique ID, they have only the name that is unique. So I'm getting the name. So like songs, right? But it's not exactly like song. So for each of that song card, the last child, we use the last child property dot first child dot inner HTML. If you remember the card structure, right? So I'm getting the card. For each of this like song, it has two childs. So this image is the first child, and this card info is the last child. So I'm going to the last child, and then I'm inside the last child. There's another two children, right? That's the card name and card artist. Where card name is the first child and card artist is the last child. But since I want only the card name, I'm using dot first child and dot inner HTML to get this value. In this case, it's nocturnal, right? So I'm getting that value over here, and then using that value, I'm comparing if name is equal to song name within that card, then song card dot style dot display is equal to now remove that song from the list, and then song card dot remove method to remove from the whole document itself. Okay, so this is in the case if the song is liked before. Now in the if it's not right, so it will go to the else block. If it is not liked yet, then songs id dot liked is equal to set the global songs array object to be true, and then the like button dot color is should be red, and then card collection, the zeroth one, that is the first one that is dedicated for the like song. Again, we'll call the append method to add the card, and then instead of, so how do we create a card, right? So we made a function over here, the create card, and it takes in the argument as the song object. So create card songs id, as simple as that. So I didn't have to write the whole thing at functionality. I just had to call the create card function. Okay. Any doubts so far?
No, Kunal.
Okay. And over here, I'll just do a like song. I'll call the function. Its arguments were the ID of the song, the like button itself, and the name of the song that I've already destructured in the global. I mean, when the object is passed, right? Now, finally, we come to the update collection part, right? So I'll use a ES6 arrow notation again. So update collection, collection. I need to get the new card collection, right? So I'll just paste this one, and then card collection dot for each that I mentioned. For each car, for each collection, we have four collections, right? And an index. We'll see why we're using the index, right? So if index is zero, that means the first collection. The first collection is for like songs, right? So I want to put only the song like songs. So songs dot for each again, for each song. If song dot liked is true, if the song is liked, then that inside that collection you add a song. So dot append, simple, create card, and I'm passing the song details, as simple as that, because we already created the functions. And then in next else, in the other cases where the other three collections, right? So for that, songs dot for each, add all the songs for each song, collection dot append, create card, I'm calling a function, and just passing the song object. But then now all of it will be in the same line by line, right? So you remember we created a reverse class in CSS. So if index percentage, this is the modulo operator, you must be familiar with this. So if it's an odd collection, that time collection dot class list. So class list, right? This is something new. We added classes using class name. What class list does is it allows you to add more than one class. In class name, you can add only one class. In class list, you can add more than one class. And I can just put dot toggle reverse. Dot toggle checks if the class is there, then remove it. If it's not there, then add it. So dot toggle adds the class with the class name reverse. VERSE, right? Okay. And final step, call the function update collection. Okay. So if we go back over here, you can see this is our same clone that we built. So all the songs are updated. If I click on this, okay, that it shows an error, but you can see for each song, uh, right, them 114. Maybe we should reinitialize them because we are doing it for that particular song. Okay, but you can see now the collection is updated, right? So since the song is liked, only that one is shown over here, whereas the rest, for rest all other songs are shown. See, any doubts like how this is working?
You repeat the function of toggle. I didn't
Toggle,
understand.
right? Uh, First thing, class list. Why we use class name before, right? What class list does is you can add or remove like a group of classes together, and you can remove them using dot toggle. Dot toggle basically it first checks. Suppose say reverse class, right? Suppose reverse is already there in that particular element with the class reverse, then it will remove reverse. If it is not there, then it will add that class reverse. So it checks if it's there, then remove. If it's not there, then add it. That is the basic functionality of dot toggle. Any doubts?
No.
Okay. So the update collection works. We're having bit of an error. You can see like type error cannot set properties of undefined. 131, right? Okay, so car dot click clear here. Basically, sorry, at 152. Okay, yeah, got there. Meant by ID by ID and a small message is to happen. Now it should come. Right, so if I click, so you can see for this specific song, Waleed, this is getting loaded. For this one, Waleed, that particular song is getting loaded. Okay, so small errors because we created the functions in one go, right? Right. So now we are not supposedly having an error. You can see the duration gets updated, the artist gets updated, or what the like even the like unlike. Uh, right, we're having few errors, but you get the overall idea, right? Is it? Does anyone have any doubt? Any doubt, anyone?
No, Kunal.
All right.
No.
Okay. I will clear the errors and I'll send you the file. You can look through it. Uh, Till then, let's now we've come to the end of the workshop. We mentioned that after you go through the workshop, we'll be giving you a task, and based on how we do the task, we'll take you into our team Think Digital. So uh, you remember that, right? So for that, we what we've thought is we'd give you, YouTube Music, right? So what your task is to create the same YouTube Music clone over here, the same one. It should the home landing page. You don't have to make other page. It should be a single page with the same styling. You don't have to go so much deep, and you can either add the play pause functionality for one song, or if you feel like you can see this and do it, then you can add play pause function for at least 5 songs that updates the player head over the like how we did for our Spotify clone over here, right? So you can make a clone of YouTube music. You can add functionality to it, and then you can add functionality either for one song, the light can pause, uh, play pause, or you can add for all the songs. So all the songs over here have that same functionality, right? So that is your task. Here we have created a Word document that I'll share you how exactly you can approach it. Any doubts like with how you want to get the about the task that we're giving to you? Any doubts, right?
No, Kunal.
No.
Right. Right. We'll be giving you like at least two weeks time because you know it's like exam time for many of us right now. So
Yes, Kunal.
you will be given 2 weeks. So by November 1st, we you can show your project. If you finish it before that, well and good. You can let us know in the group. We'll check out your project. So you have time till November 1st to work on it. If you have any doubts, feel free to put in the group or you can message me personally.
Yeah, Kunal.
Is that okay? Alright, guys. I'll
Okay.
share the Word document. You can go through that. Thanks for coming, guys. And I want like you guys should be proud of this, like attending the workshop for 8 weeks, close to 8 weeks. Uh, so let's hope for a long-lasting journey with the team. Thanks, guys, and have a good day.
Thank you, Kunal. Kunal,
Thank you.
Yeah, Ravi.
can I get last week recordings?
Yeah, sure. I'll forward that to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Kunal.
Okay. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Kunal.